Today we're at the DTI campus here in Pretoria. We are going to be speaking to the Companies and Intellectual Properties Commission, the CIPC. We're going to be listening to how you can register a business, how you can maintain it, and what the costs involved there too are. Come with me. Siyanamgela, namhlanje siseTshwane at the CIPC, which is the Companies and Intellectual Properties Commission, to find out the work that they're doing to try and help you and I to both register a company, maintain that company, register our IP, and if you want to also claim certain words, you can come here as well. But we are here with Tshiamo Zebediela. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I want to firstly find out what exactly is the mandate of the CIPC?
The mandate of CIPC is to register companies, your cooperatives, and protect your intellectual property. Mm-hmm. And CIPC came about as an establishment of an entity that was established in the Companies Act of 2008. And it came about as a merge of two divisions within the Department of Industry, the OCIPE and the previously known CIPRO. OCIPE was mainly for enforcement of the company laws and regulations, whereas CIPC was solely for the administration in registering the companies and intellectual property.
And I want to find out, Mama, do you have a sense of the numbers in terms of yearly how many people register companies? Well, of different kinds, of course.
For private companies, we register roughly 330,000 companies, private companies. Mm-hmm. And then for, let's say, primary cooperatives, we register close to 75,000 primary cooperatives.
And maybe let's just get into those two categories just a little bit. I understand by a cooperative, a couple of individuals coming together
for a
common purpose. So most people would assume that would be Abu Makoko coming together for their vegetable gardens and so forth in order to access other opportunities. Do we see young people forming cooperatives as well?
Yes, we do, because initially cooperatives were agriculturally based when it started. But now it can be manufacturing, it can be any type of company, but you have to be together for a common purpose. And the number of people registering a cooperative, it's 5 upwards. You come for a common purpose where even families, they do register cooperatives as part of the family. And you register a cooperative, there must be a constitution that drives this cooperative. Mm-hmm. That will also be part of the, there are certain forms that you use to register a cooperative. Sure. You have the CR1, and then where you put the directors. Mm-hmm. You have the CR8, where you can stamp it at the police station. And then we have the CR4, where you can appoint a accounting officer to assist you with your financials for a period of 3 years.
Manjele cooperative, ihlukile from the stokvels that we know, or is the cooperative the formalization, quote unquote, of a stokvel?
It's stokvel, because it's a type of business. Okay. Remember, with the stokvel, you're only concentrating on how to grow your money within the stokvel. But with this, it's a business that you want a bigger share of a business to use within your community.
Of that 300,000 or so entities or people that come and register their business on an annual basis, how many of them perhaps come back and say, thank you very much, we want to close our business?
It happens quite often because people will register businesses for wrong reasons.
Sure.
Others will do it for tendering processes, and when the tender doesn't come through, then they decide somehow that, hey, I've got so many entities, I don't want this one. Let me concentrate on one business that will make money for me. Mm-hmm. What they do is, you can change. People will register today. Tomorrow they change and say, no, I'm no longer interested in this company. Then they will apply for what we call voluntary deregistration. liquidation, voluntary liquidation, whereby then you state your reasons to say that I'm no longer interested in this company.
And I want to find out just there on that voluntary sort of liquidation, is there a penalty? Is there something that I pay in order to
No fees are requested when you apply for voluntary. You just do it in a form of a letter, and then we with your particulars to say that the following directors agree to this voluntary liquidation.
Okay. Now, when I register the company, are there also some hoops that I have to jump through, or I just bring the documentation, pay whatever fee, and my company is registered?
Let's say you are a sole director of a company. What you need to do is you need to firstly register on our website as a customer. That's very important, because when you register for a customer, we need your working email address, your working cell phone. Those two are the main communication channels that we use to communicate with you. It's free of charge. You'll be provided with a customer code, a 6-digit customer code, and a password that you will create after that. That customer code serves as a reference when you pay into our CIPC account. So that when the money comes through, we know this money is allocated to this specific reference and it belongs to so and so. So there won't be any duplication of references. Once you have done that, then you can, on the website, log in with the same customer code and password to do your transactions.
Zebediela, I want to perhaps come into this concept of ARs. You know, as I was walking in here, there's a lady that said to me, sorry, are you here to pay your ARs, or are you here to register a company? Papa, how can I help you? You know, what are these annual returns?
Annual returns, it's a compliance issue emanating from the Companies Act, whereby we say in companies, need to be active on our database. We have to pay those annual returns. And those annual returns are different from your SARS tax returns. People need to understand that. You have to pay the annual returns, and then tax returns, when you're doing a certain amount of money, that's where you need to pay at SARS. With us, it's a mere fee of 100 Rand that you pay on the anniversary month of your registration. Let's say you registered a company last year in February. It means this year on February, you should have paid that 100 Rand. Failing which, we put a penalty fee of 50 Rands. So it means the amount now has increased to 150 that you owe us. If you don't pay for the next 3 years, then we refer the company for final deregistration. That is, and we only refer once in a year. Like, for instance, this year we haven't referred companies for. We'll only be doing it early next year, around February, March. That's when we'll be referring companies. And roughly we'll refer 200 to 300,000 companies, because people are using agents to register companies. So we don't have their direct contact details. So we only send reminders for people that have registered directly with CIPC. Hence the importance of registering as a customer. And the other benefit is you don't have a middleman. You don't have a middle person where you have to pay exorbitant funds. When you register a company, it's a mere 175. So imagine if you go to an agent, a so-called agent, you'll have to pay more. Most people have registered companies and they've paid more than 175 with an extra zero at the end, 1,750.
Sure, that's actually a little bit scary that I'm paying 10 times more to register a company than what I would just on my own. Let me ask the question more directly. Do you think it's a little too cheap, that price? It's a little too low to register a company? Or do you think that it's because, you know, these are people who are entrepreneurs, they are, you know, struggling business people?
To me, it's still very low, because we're not registering a company doesn't come overnight. It's something that you build on. It's your dream to say that in other years I want to see myself at this level. So we're not saying all companies must be registered. You start off somewhere. Start the company first, and then when you show that this company is going somewhere, formalize it by registering with CIPC.
And how many registered companies do you have on your database at the moment?
At the moment, we have nearly 3 million PTY LTDs.
Sure. So 3 million companies, of which at least one person is there. Well, at the minimum, there's at least one person who is a director in those companies.
Yeah, 5 directors, it differs.
Sure. And now, so everyone across the country has to register with the CIPC in terms
yes,
of that?
we are the sole entity given that mandate that all companies must be registered with CIPC.
How do people get in touch with you?
Previously, you know that people used to travel from all parts of South Africa to come to Pretoria to register. We have made registration and contact with CIPC very easy. You can go online and register as a customer, like I've said before. You can also register. We have a memorandum of understanding that we have with certain banks.
Yeah.
Your ABSA, your FNB, and your Netbank,
sure,
where you can register a company at. The agreement is for them to charge them not more than 175. But the benefit is for you to open a business account, you can register with them. But they will charge you an extra fee of a minimum amount that they require for establishing a business account.
Mama, I just want to find out, what is the number, what's the website, and the email address that people can contact you on?
Like I said before, that you can register as a customer on our website. Our website is www.cipc.co.za. Or they can call our call center number, which is 086 100 2472.
And is there an email address they can
on our website, if you've got a query that you want to put forth, there's query resolution on our website where you can, and then you'll have a ticket number, and then somebody from the back office will respond to your query.
Just finally, Mama, some of the more outlying issues. Why is it that perhaps foreign nationals can't register companies in South Africa?
Remember, in South Africa, the most important working document is the identity document. So most of them, they don't have those identity document. And we do it by biometric. Your fingerprint is the most important pick-up point, whether it's for crime or for any other issues. So the important thing is for them to register online because they don't have that biometric fingerprint.
So they could register?
They can register normally online. You just log in, give company details, and then send through the documents for approval at CIPC.
Okay. And is there any sort of requirement? I know in other countries, people can't even operate any business without having 50% or 51% being locals. Do we have that requirement?
Here we don't have any restrictions. Anybody can register a business, hence the minimal fee of 175, which we think is affordable to everyone. The only thing that you need is that ID number. It will allow you, and we register companies from 16 years upwards, where you have that ID document.
Yes. So a 16-year-old can actually come and register a company from that age. So teaching entrepreneurship very young. No, Zebediela, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I get Senizwele from the CIPC. Let's go to an ad break.